Hello friends, today I'm going to show you another Mikhail Tal game which he has played against Hans-Joachim Hecht. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, uh, but this game was very interesting. As the title suggests, Mikhail Tal gets a kiss and a whole loud of applause from the spectators when he sacrifices his queen. So you really need to watch this game till the very end. That's really exciting. Where Mikhail Tal was playing with white and he started with d4, knight f6, so that's king's Indian, and then c4, um, e6, knight to f3, and then b6. So that's the king's Indian defense. Knight to c3, and um, bishop to b4, and bishop to g5. So idea is to pin the knight here. Bishop to b7, and then e3, uh, h6, so kicking the bishop, so bishop move to h4, and here bishop takes c3 check. So that's very rare in the games. Usually you'd like to keep the bishop pair against the knights, but here bishop takes c3 check, and where b takes c3, and now d6, knight to d2, and now e5. So Hecht want to break through the center. He's also cleared his light square diagonal. So Mikhail Tal needs to take do something about it. So he played f3, and now queen to e7. So the queen is now in the middle and attacking and basically trying to come into the line of the king. Um, so at this position, e4 from the Mikhail Tal, because you really do not want anything like of this sort. But here knight b to d7, and then bishop to d3, and now it moves to f8. So the idea is a knight is coming on to e6 and then f4, and then trying to attack on those lines. So here c5 was played, where d takes c5, d takes e5, sorry, d takes e5, and then queen takes e5. So that's a very interesting position. Now queen is attacking on the c3 pawn as well. But Mikhail Tal, here comes the Tal kind of moves, right? So first of all, Tal played queen to a4 check, and which will easily be blocked by c6. So here at this position, first of all, Mikhail Tal castles, and then knight to g6. So g6 because they're trying to attack on the bishop, and knight to c4. So, but that's very interesting. Although Mikhail Tal is attacking the queen here, but have a look. He's really not worried about the bishop. Here at this position, queen move to e6, and now guess what happens? The move which come here from this position from Mikhail Tal is e5. So what the thing is, first of all, black can fork the queen and the knight here. Black can also capture the bishop here, and this pawn push, it can also be easily be neutralized. But so here b5 from the black. So now, as I said earlier, now the queen and the knight is really forked. uh, have a look at this. There are three pieces hanging at the moment, and the move which comes from Mikhail Tal here is e takes d6. Yes, a beautiful knight queen sacrifice, where Hecht did not uh, think about a second, and he simply captured b takes e4, and now f takes g7. So the attack onto the rook. So rook moves to g8, and now from this position, and here comes another Tal move, bishop to f5. So have a look at this. I will show you what happens here in just moments from now. Friends, if you are playing with black, what would you play here? You can capture the bishop. You can also capture the knight. So there are two main variations possible. So let's have a look at both of them. Then I will tell you what happens in the game. So say for example, if you go and capture mm, the bishop with the queen, but then it comes knight to d6 check, and as the king moves to d7, Tal can capture the queen. Here Hecht can capture the bishop, but then the knight will capture the knight as well. So if you see, if you can, I can easy you can easily conclude that white is winning here. White is being better. But first of all, uh, black has a piles of there are piles of pawn onto the queen side, but a double pawn onto the a file and a double pawn onto c file. Also this bishop's activity is very limited. So Mikhail Tal's bishops are both of them are connected easily. So of course you may not go to not want to go onto this line. But what happens if you say, oops, sorry. What happens if you capture the knight with the queen? So queen takes c4. What happens in this case? Uh, so that was the in the mind of the Mikhail Tal, that he will do something like that. So, but what happens if Mikhail Tal can play what, first of all, rook f to e1 check. And what are the moves available here for the king to move? Say first of all, let's see. The square f8 is blocked. Of course, this entire diagonal is blocked. The square d8 is also blocked, and d7 is also blocked. So you really cannot move your king here at the moment. There is no point moving the knight, bringing the knight into the middle, because that can also easily be captured. So you have to bring the queen back. But when you bring the queen back, it can also be captured with rook takes e6, and here, say for example, you capture this f takes e6, but then bishop takes g6 check, and you move if you move the queen to d7, but then rook to d1 check, but and now where you can move this, so you may go on to king to c8, but then bishop to f7, and then this rook is gone. There is no way this rook is going anywhere. If you can capture, rook takes g6 g7, but then bishop takes e6, and that will be very devastating, and in fact it will be checkmate in next few moves. So what happened from the after the move bishop to f5, Mikhail, first of all, Hecht was very angry on this, but here he played. He's just given up his queen at this position, and he played knight to h4. So knight takes h4. So knight has taken the bishop, and here bishop takes g6. So of course now the Mikhail Tal gets his queen back, and now bishop to a sorry bishop to a6. Bishop to a6. Why? Because first of all, in an interview against after the match, in the post-match interview, Hecht has admitted that he did not played bishop to a6 to pin this knight. He just want to get rid of the knight, because that knight was very troublesome for the Hecht here. But here comes another move, knight to d6 check, and king has to only place to move is king to e7, but then bishop to c4. So you can take my knight and I will take your bishop policy here, but here first of all rook takes g7, and uh, g3 was played. Why g3? Because you really want to kick this knight, and then you can fork the queen and the knight. So Mikhail Tal knew about the Hecht knew about this, and he has captured king takes d6, where bishop takes a6, and the knight move to f5. Rook a to b1 from this position, and f6 from the black. uh, rook a so rook rook f to d1 check, and then king move to e7, where rook to e1 check, and where king move to d6 again, and now king to f2. So Mikhail Tal wanted his king to come into the picture. C4 was played, and then uh, g4. So idea is to kick this knight from here. So knight move to e7, where rook move to b7. So idea is to um, put more pressure on this knight, and if you move this knight, this rook is hanging. So rook a to g8. So instead of save putting a defender against the knight, Hecht has double his battery onto the g file, and now b- bishop takes c4, and now there's an attack on to this knight, and this has been blocked by knight to d5, where bishop takes d5, c takes d5, and rook to b4. Oops, sorry, uh, rook to b4. Uh, at this position, most engines suggest moves to f5 or h5 would be the ideal move to draw this game. But since Mikhail Tal, whenever you play against the Tal, he creates enough madness onto the board that you can miss such moves, and that's what happened with Hecht as well. Hecht played rook to c8. He tried to attack onto this pawn, but here Mikhail Tal took rook takes a4, where rook takes c3. Here rook here rook to a6 check, king move to c5, and then rook takes f6. Here at this position, h5 from the white, but I think that's too late. h3, and then h takes g4, where h takes g4, and then rook to h7. So idea is to check from h2 and then capture the pawn. But here Mikhail Tal was not really worried about this. He played g5, and then rook to h5, uh, rook to f oops rook to f5, and then rook to c2 check, king moves to g3, uh, king to c4, rook e to e5, and then d4. Here g6, rook to h1. So idea is to check from g1 and then win the pawn. But Mikhail, it's as I said, it's very late. First rook c2, rook to c5 check, king moves to d3. Mikhail Tal captured rook to c2, king takes c2, and now king to g4. Oops, sorry, king to f4, and now rook to g1, and then rook to g5. And here at this position, Hecht has resigned the game, because really there is nothing left into the game for the black. uh, so friends, that let me know how you like this video, how you like Mikhail Tal's game. um, there are amazing queen sacrifices from Mikhail Tal. So do mention in your comments. Take care. Till then, bye bye.